great tradition in this stadium, but no matter how many times you experience it, John, they kill the music after the first few bars of the anthem, and the 38,000-seater choir, or standing choir, they take over and they sing it a cappella. It's incredible.
This is one of the best stadiums I've ever been at, Joel. I've never played here. Unfortunately, I regret that I never got the chance to, just the way
Probably
the draws work.
Back then, John.
But I've been lucky enough to commentate on it. This is definitely probably fourth time, Joel, and it's an amazing stadium. And you consider this is a friendly in June, and the place is packed with nothing at stake. And for the players out there, and particularly the lads, as we're talking about, it's a young team looking to find their feet. This is the atmosphere you want to play in, and you've got to go out there, not be afraid of it, embrace it and enjoy it. And when you come to my age, you'll be talking about it for years after.
Well, we're talking about this stadium, 38,000 capacity for football, multi-purpose arena. Robbie Williams will be here on Thursday week, and not a single member of the starting 11 for Northern Ireland tonight was actually born when Angels was released. 7 changes to the team that was battered in Stockholm, including between the posts. Conor Hazard returns, and Pierce Charles is on the bench. Paddy McNair and Kieran Brown, of course, aren't here. Brodie Spencer, Saville, Smith and Lee Bonus are also on the bench. Hazard is joined in the starting 11 by Ballard, by Conor Bradley, by Rory McConville, Ali McCann, Dion Charles and Justin Deviney. So if you missed it, the starting lineup: Hazard in goals, Hume, Ballard, McConville, Bradley, Charles, Ali McCann and Deviney, and then Gilbraith, Dion Charles and Isaac Price. For the Danes, who are about to gather in a huddle, of course there's always that tradition of so many Danish players who are playing or have played in the Premier League in England. That has not changed. So Philip Jorgensen, the Chelsea goalkeeper who started the Conference League final, he's between the posts. Kasper Schmeichel on the bench. Christensen, Joachim Andersen at Fulham, Lucas Hogsberg, who gets a debut, and Joachim Mela are the back four. Christian Eriksen, Christian Norgard and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg are the midfield three, and the two wide players are Gustav Isaksen and Mikael Damsgaard. And Rasmus Højlund, after all his struggles at Manchester United, leads the attack.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough game, Joel. I think the three midfield players in the Danish side have over 200 caps between them. We think it's going to be a tough game. I think we're going to have our backs against the wall. There has been a couple of changes that I'm not too sure why, but it remains to see how it plays out.
Well, we're underway. Northern Ireland in their white shirts and their green shorts and their white socks, and Denmark in their red shirts, white shorts and red socks. And as we look from an absolutely perfect vantage point here, right on the halfway line, high in the stands,
and the pitch looks absolutely perfect as well.
Pitch is perfect, and Northern Ireland are playing from right to left as we look down, and Christian Eriksen immediately trying to put some pressure on Trey Hume, who knocks the ball back to his goalkeeper, and then right-footed it goes long, and Hazard with a pinpoint pass that Pierce Charles would have been proud of. And Conor Bradley gets his first touch. It's interesting, despite the fact he's on the opposition team tonight, when Conor Bradley's name was read out at the start of the night, the Liverpool fans in the Danish crowd gave him a bit of a cheer.
He did, yeah.
Which was nice to see. The long ball played forward by Hazard, this time towards the left-hand side. That's how to play, and it's going to be a throw-in for Denmark in their left-back position. And many reasons why you might want to be in Copenhagen this weekend. It's Copenhagen Carnival weekend. We saw the Carnival parade today. It's the Nordic Masters darts tournament. Luke Humphreys and Luke Littler leading the charge there. It's quarter-finals, semi-finals and final tonight. And Duran Duran were in town last night giving a concert.
We should have made a week of it, Joel.
Nick Rhodes' birthday. He's 63 tomorrow. Denmark on the attack on the left-hand side. Cross in towards the near post. Headed up in the air, not particularly far. And Højlund making a nuisance of himself, and the Cypriot referee was happy to let the play continue. Northern Ireland survived outside of play on the far side, and Ballard just easing himself into the game.
Yeah, it was a poor header, Joel. He got underneath it a little bit. Instead of clearing the 18-yard box, he just went straight up in the air, and there was a little bit of a scramble until we eventually got it out for a throw-in.
His throw-in is level with the edge of the 18-yard box on the left-hand side. There's a potential penalty check on our screen has flashed up. Let's see the replay. Headed up in the air. Oh, we're playing on, I think, are we?
Well, we're going to have a look. No, I think that's a foul on Trey Hume, if anything.
Yeah, no, on we go.
Yeah.
Check over. So, the throw-in has been wasted, and the ball's been cleared back into the Danish half, and they'll start again on this near side with Christensen, the right back. Northern Ireland win the ball back, though. It's a chance to break, and ball the outside of the right foot by Dion Charles is really poor pass.
That's a poor pass, Joel, from a great break. I mean, I think it was Devaney, I think, that broke it up. You know, when he finds Charles in the middle of the park and he tries to switch it out to Price, but it's gone straight to centre half. And you've got to be better in those positions.
And he tried to hit with the outside of his foot and didn't come off.
There's Bradley again, right into the thick of it, Joel.
Yeah, wins the ball back on the halfway line. Thought he had support. Referee, I think, is going to try and play an advantage, but nothing comes of that, and it's a free kick for Denmark on the halfway line. Yeah. Apology from Ali McCann.
Yeah, his foot was just a little bit too high.
So Damsgaard was the player that he fouled, the Brentford player. New Danish coach is his 5th game in charge. He's on the staff at Brentford. Thomas Frank, of course, is now being linked with this Tottenham job. Denmark come forward again. Lovely little back heel. They're on the edge of the Northern Ireland penalty area, but Northern Ireland got bodies back. There was a foul there. The referee has waved on the plays, played an advantage, and Bradley runs the ball up the pitch and wins a throw-in for Northern Ireland. There was a pull on the jersey of Dion Charles as he broke away, and the referee has a word with the Danish player involved, who may have been Hoyland, and says, I saw that. And
that was a good break by Denmark, Joel. I mean, Isaacson down this left-hand side, or Dane's right-hand side, causing us all sorts of problems. But, you know, they defended well and got it away, and you're right, it should have been a free kick, and the referee, you know, rightly played the advantage.
Northern Ireland working out to the left-hand side now, and Devaney in this left wing-back position. He clips it down the line and then back in towards Devaney. It's just away from him. Charles knocks it around the corner, little 1-2. He might keep it in. That's Shea Charles this time, who just runs out of space on the near side.
We were talking about that before the game, Joel. I mean, that's another ball clean. Sorry, to Price, and Price wastes the pass.
Oh, Devaney almost able to squeeze that.
He started the game well, Joel.
Looking for a positive ball forward. It's McCombel who came out of his defensive position. And Bradley just slips into the right hand side. The ball inside the Danish half. Little pass forward down the right hand side for Galbraith. He's in the corner. There's 2 Danish players around him.
Yeah, he's got to be stronger, Joe. He's just pushed off the ball too easily there.
Denmark will now try to play out. They're deep in their own half. 3 or 4 passes doesn't really get them any further up the pitch. They look for a crossfield ball, which is intercepted. Really well done. Chance for Devaney. Tries to play it across the face of goal.
Yes!
Diving header. It's into the net at the back post. And Charles arriving. Shea Charles at the back post. Last touch. Was it off a defender? Was it off Shea Charles? But it's into the net at the back post, and Northern Ireland take the lead inside 6 minutes.
No, you got to say, Joel, it's a suicide ball. They were trying to play. Denmark trying to play out from the back, and we've pinned them right in that corner on the far side. And I'm not sure who it was, you know, whether it was May that tried to play the crossfield ball. And Devaney, who's made an absolutely brilliant start, breaks into the box. At first I thought he was going to shoot. I was actually saying for him to shoot, but he's chipped the ball into the back post, and I think it might have took a slight deflection, and Charles was the first to get it solved.
Charles gets there first, yeah. He's there ahead of the defender.
Yeah.
So Shea Charles with the diving header, and Northern Ireland are in front inside 6 minutes.
Yeah, and I think you got to give a lot of credit to Devaney. Like, you know, he's been 2 or 3 crosses even this first 5 minutes. He's been excellent, and we got a little bit of luck with the deflection. But fair play to Charles. He put his head down there where he was brave enough. He might have got a bit in the face, but I think is that his first goal, Joe?
It is.
And I'll be delighted with that.
First international goal. Ended the season as Sheffield Wednesday's Player of the Year.
Yeah.
After a season-long loan spell. Well, what a start. perfect start. Denmark 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Well, we were saying, like, you know, about the record we have here. I think you told me that we've never won here.
Never won in Denmark.
We've had a couple of great results, great draws, like, but
that's only Northern Ireland's third goal in Denmark.
Yeah, it'd be nice maybe to get a win here, but
he joins Jerry Taggart, my uncle Jerry, who's not really my uncle. And
he's old enough to be your uncle.
And Philip Moran.
There you are now.
So those are the 3 Northern Ireland players to score goals in Denmark. It's the 7th visit here. Northern Ireland still, in fact, in the 14 previous meetings anywhere, there's only ever been one away win. Denmark trying to respond quickly, but the ball's gone out of play.
He hasn't flagged, but it definitely. Oh, he's flagged now.
Yeah. Isaacson was.
Yeah, Isaacson looks sharp down there, Joel, and Devaney's going to have to keep an eye on him. He's done well going forward. There's a couple of times there Isaacson, you know, has got round the back and he's put good crosses in.
Højbjerg does get the last touch on that, but you'd have to say Shea Charles' header looks on target before it bounces off Højbjerg's knee. Yeah. Højbjerg will be.
Got to give it to him, I would think.
Well, I think Højbjerg will be keen to give it to him.
See, I like this, Joel. We're playing the ball long. From the goal kicks, and we're trying to win it in their half and play from there, and it's working for us at the minute. And you had that theory about why possibly Hazard is playing instead of Pierce, Charles.
Long ball played forward, which is knotted down by Joachim Andersen, and Joachim Andersen once more. This time he opts to play it square over to his left hand side, and Andersen then gets it back from Hogsberg, who's playing alongside him and making his debut. Out towards the right hand side, so out goes Bradley to try and stop this Danish move.
Done well.
Galbraith is there to support him, but all the outfield players are now inside the Northern Ireland half. 9 minutes on the clock, and it's still 1-0 to Northern Ireland. So
that's good play.
Good play from Denmark, good defending too as well. You can see the frustration from Højbjerg as he just tried to play a little square pass with his right foot to his left inside the Northern Ireland penalty area, but it was well cut out, but at the expense of a corner.
Yeah, I think it was McCann just read it, Joel. I mean, that's good play by Denmark, and we need to be on our toes and defend well, and so far we're doing that.
Christian Eriksen raises his left arm and right-footed plays the ball in towards the back post over the heads of all the players who were in there. And it's been retrieved by Højbjerg, the skipper, and he gives it to Mæhle, the left back, who's close to the centre circle, and then Hogsberg, short pass forward from him. Eriksen's available, he then gets the ball, but he's in the right back position now, close to the halfway line. That's where Northern Ireland would like to see him.
Yeah.
Eriksen then left-footed plays a pass out to the near side, and Christensen further to the right it goes, but Northern Ireland applying pressure and making it difficult for Denmark to make any sort of progress down the right hand side, so they now have to switch it over to the left, and it's Eriksen gives it back to Hogsberg then to Andersen, all inside the centre circle.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that right throughout the game, Joel. They're obviously going to have a lot more possession, but we know we've got a good shape there at the minute.
Again, they get it wide over on the left hand side, back once more into the skipper Højbjerg gives it to Andersen, and then out to the right hand side it comes. And Isaacson gets down towards the corner. Isaacson has 2 defenders around him, and they do well, and it should be brought away here by Price. Not sure passing it into that area was what Shea Charles wanted.
I don't think Shea Charles wanted that on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Northern Ireland have managed to tidy it up, and then they lose the ball again. Chance for Højbjerg on his right foot. Cries from the crowd for him to shoot, but he plays it out to the right hand side instead. Isaacson stands it up towards the back post, too much on it, and it drifts away out over on the far side, but should be kept in. Yeah,
we should, you know, we can clearly see where the threat's coming from down this right hand side with Isaacson, and Devaney certainly needs a lot of help there, Joel.
Gave the ball away cheaply, that's what caused that.
Yeah.
Here's Isaacson again, further wide to Christensen to Eriksen 20 yards out on the right hand side, left foot, tries to chip the ball into the box, easily cleared away, but it's back onto the head of Eriksen, and it's back once more now to Christensen, all inside the Northern Ireland half. It's like a training session at the minute, but Northern Ireland have the goal and they have the lead. That's a foul, and Damsgaard with his quick feet managed to draw the challenge.
Yeah, McCann just, he's a little bit rash with the challenge just on the edge of the 18-yard box. But that, to be fair, it's the play from Denmark that's forcing us into those challenges. They've had all the possession since we've scored the goal. We just can't get the ball at all at the minute. I don't know, what you fancy Eriksson hitting this or crossing it, Joel? I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little bit too far at an angle for him to go for goal.
Well, you'd probably say it's 15, 16 yards outside the line of Conor Hazard's left-hand post.
Yeah.
And it's 20 yards out in terms of distance.
Yeah.
So Eriksson's over it, and so too is Isaacson. Eriksson who hits it straight into the wall. Isaacson volleys it with his left foot, and it's blocked as well.
You expect more from Eriksson than that, Joel. He's just hit it straight into the wall.
Yeah. Mela, angled pass over to the far side, and Damsgaard has two Northern Ireland players around him, the edge of the Northern Ireland 18-yard box. 13 minutes gone, Northern Ireland leading Copenhagen by a goal to nil. Low cross into the box. Price is there with his foot on the edge of his own penalty area, and then it's stumped away by Trey Hume, who knocks it up in the air, the Northern Ireland skipper tonight.
We just can't get a hold of the ball.
No, Northern Ireland camped on the edge of their own 18-yard box. The one thing you would say, despite all of that, the goalkeeper hasn't made a save.
No, to be fair to them, they've been going back and forth across the 18-yard box, and they're looking for that killer ball, and up to now we've managed to deal with it. But you want to get them on the ball a little bit, Joel, just to slow things down and play the game at their pace. At this minute in time, it's Denmark who are dictating everything in the game.
Denmark in possession again with the captain, Højbjerg, playing his football in France with Marseille now. They are on the right-hand side. Christensen, the right back, who has spent the entire game, I would say, in the Northern Ireland half.
Yeah.
And when I say right back, they are playing a back four.
They're playing back four, yeah.
But the two full-backs are spending most of the time between the halfway line and the Northern Ireland 18-yard box. Denmark in possession once, but Christensen's gone and made a run inside as opposed to on the outside, and you just couldn't play the pass through to him.
You just can't get a break here, Joel. Every little ball is just falling to a red shirt.
Christensen throws it back to Anderson. Joachim Anderson winning his 42nd cap tonight.
Yeah, we get it again, but
just
we just
give it away.
There's too many red shirts around us. We just can't get a pass and can't get an out ball at the minute.
Mela gives it back, and once more Joachim Anderson. And he gets a poor pass from him, and it's all the way through and out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's the first. Sorry, Joel. I was just going to say that's the first poor pass they've had in 10 minutes.
Conor Hazard shouldn't be any rush to take this.
No, and again, he's got his two centre halves either side of the 6-yard box. But I think he's going to hit this long, and if he does, I think we should push right up to the centre circle, the edge of the centre circle, and wait for his centre halves to get up there, and he's doing that, which is good play. I think squeeze the game up, win it in their half, try and get on the second ball, and try and play from there.
46 years ago yesterday, John, since the first meeting between the two sides in Copenhagen. Northern Ireland's first visit to Copenhagen came 46 years ago yesterday. Denmark won 4-0. Jimmy Nicholl played, who of course is on the staff. Bet he wasn't telling the current players about that. So Isaacson on the right hand side, back to Højbjerg back to Isaacson, so back to Højbjerg. It's all on the right hand side for Denmark.
Yeah, we had that goal kick, give the ball back to them, and they started all over again. Honestly,
bar the goal, almost the entire game was taking place inside the Northern Ireland half.
But as you said, Joel, the goalkeeper has had nothing to do.
That's ball into the penalty area, and the referee gives the free kick.
He's done well.
It wasn't a particularly weak team that Jimmy Nicholl was part of that night, John, that lost 4-0 here. Pat Jennings played, Martin O'Neill played, Sammy McElroy played, Pat Rice, Dean McCreary. And I was going to say they had an off night, but then they lost the next game 5-1 against England. And you know what happened 2 games later? John O'Neill made his debut. You see, after they shipped 9 goals in 2 matches, they thought, what are we going to do? There's this lad at Leicester.
Yeah.
So Højbjerg again turns and manages to find a forward pass. Isaacson's a danger man. He's done well. He gets away from the defender. Can he get to the byline? Still going
it's a
to
dive.
himself down in the box.
Yeah, blatant dive. I mean, I don't know why the referee doesn't book him, because they all agree it's a dive. Now that's a foul. I think Hoiberg's caught Shea Charles slightly in the face. I think it was purely accidental, but it's definitely a free kick. But I mean, Isaacson's a blatant foul.
The referee's having a word with him now and telling him to get on with it.
Yeah.
Menelaus Antoniou from Cyprus is the referee. Is he already speaking to Conor Hazard about time wasting?
Yeah, incredible. But so, you know, possession isn't everything, and you know, it does give them more opportunities to score. Obviously, the more possession they have, but you know, if we can keep defending like that,
yes,
there's no reason to panic or anything. I mean, we were just talking to one of the lads who was in the 92 Danish squad that won the Euros, and basically talking about that, you know, being patient and having to defend. It's all part of the game. And unfortunately, we've talked about this quite a bit. I think, you know, defensive qualities are overlooked now and bypassed almost. You know, you have to be able to play out it from the back rather than be a defender.
Just being a little bit careless in the opportunities when we've got the ball back. That's been the only thing.
Yeah.
Just going to try and keep it for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and this is where I think hopefully Shea Charles will grow into that role. And we were talking again, we feel that Charles and McCann in the middle of the park actually are a fair pair to have there, you know. But he's the guy, I think, who can get the ball at his feet and can make passes and, you know, keep us in possession. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to do that yet.
Good challenge comes in from Trey.
Well, we were talking about what Michael says, you know, is a throwback. That's what Michael means there. You know, when he goes into a tackle, he goes into a tackle.
So Denmark have a throw-in, level with the edge of the 18-yard box on the right-hand side. Northern Ireland leading 1-0. The goal coming in the 6th minute. First international goal for Shea Charles. The assistant referee had a 50-50 decision to make there.
I wonder which way it went.
Goes in favour of the home team for a throw-in, close to the corner flag. Christensen is going to take it.
He's got no options.
No. That was a hope, or a throw-in hope more than anything else. Northern Ireland were able to clear it. And it's poked forward by Isaac Price.
Yeah, so it's gone right back to their keeper now, Joe. You know, and this is where you have to sort of get a little bit of a breather, regroup, get your shape again, because you know it's just going to come straight back at you again. You know, any little break in the game, you've got to try and get a little breath, get a little rest, because this is going to be what it's going to be like for most of the game.
Højbjerg plays the ball in towards the penalty spot, cleared away, and it goes for a corner, I think.
Yeah, it was good covering by McConville in the back post.
There's Hoyland now, he's complaining. The referee's telling him to stop whinging.
I think it's any sort of contact at all, Joel, and they're going down and they're expecting a foul for him.
25th cap for Hoyland. Corner is from the right.
It's two hands this time, Joel, so we'll see what this one brings.
Yeah, Eriksson once more.
It looks exactly the same corner.
Standing up towards the back post.
It's exactly the same corner when he put one hand up.
Helped on its way by Ali McCann. Retrieved, though, on the far side. Denmark keep the ball in play.
So we've got to push out a little bit quicker there, Joel.
Højbjerg gives it to the right, and Eriksson again. Højbjerg looks for the angled ball this time, out towards the left-hand side. Bradley's out straight away. Tries to get the tackle in, and then that's a foul, I think, by the Liverpool man.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too late. He'd already won the tackle, the first tackle, but as it broke to him, he was just a little bit late with it, and he's actually gone over his knee.
Yeah. Damsgaard, the player who goes down.
I was saying earlier, Joel, I was watching them practicing, you know, set-piece corners and whatnot. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, it's all
pre-game.
United started that when Ruben Abraham arrived as well. It didn't really work for them. Another set piece. Again, Eriksson's in that neck of the woods as if he's one of the candidates to take it. Doesn't take this one. Left-footed delivered towards the back. Oh, it's too much on that
they're
one.
They're constantly hitting that to the back post where they expect Anderson to get on the end of it.
Joachim Anderson would need a set of step ladders and a scaffold to get to that one.
And not only that one, Joel, but for the two corners as well, because those are the guy they're looking for at the back. It's pretty obvious.
I know he's a big lad, but he's not that big.
Not that big.
They could bring Vestergaard on. He could have sat on his shoulders and he might have reached that one. So, quarter of the game gone. And Northern Ireland lead in Denmark.
Yeah, Michael must be very happy with what he's seen so far. Not having a lot of the ball, but, you know, they're not having... Yeah, he thought about that one this time.
I think Michael O'Neill won us that throw in.
I think he did.
Out of the technical area, appealing to the assistant referee.
You know, but we you know, stats-wise possession is going to look awful, but at the end of the day, we're one goal in front and the goalkeepers had nothing to do.
Throw-in eventually is taken. Helped forward by Price. He tried to get it out towards the right-hand side, but Denmark had possession. It's all a bit sloppy. Nobody puts their foot in the ball, and they're under pressure all of a sudden.
All the time.
And now it's back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah. He's got to go long. It's not a great kick.
Out towards this near side. Devaney was beaten in the air. And runs away from Isaacson.
Any ball that breaks to us, Joel, they're closing it down very quickly, but you've got to have somebody there with a little bit of composure, you know, that can make a bit of space for himself, get a pass away and get us up the field.
Talking about this being a friendly, John, it's only the second ever friendly meeting between Northern Ireland and Denmark. And you played in the other one.
Played in the other one, yeah.
1-1 in Belfast, just before the '86 World Cup.
Yeah, my old friend Alan MacDonald
scored the goal
for Northern Ireland. Yeah.
Stephen Penny took the said piece that led to the goal.
Yeah.
Just in case he's listening, he'd be very upset if I don't mention that.
I thought he was away on a cruise, Joel, was he?
And
was that last week?
Pat Jennings won his 115th cap that night, which set a European record at that time. And brings me to the point that Pat has a significant birthday next week.
He has, yeah.
So
again, look, we're middle of the park. We've lost it. This could cost us because it's a bad position to lose it there, Joel. With too many men, you know, out of position in front of the ball.
Norgard, who hasn't really seen too much of the ball, now he's given it away again. So the ball's now back on the halfway line, and this pattern has developed since the goal of Denmark having possession, all the outfield players being inside the Northern Ireland half, but the Northern Ireland goalkeeper Conor Hazard as yet untroubled. Outside
of taking goal kicks, Joel, I think he might have maybe picked one up, and that's about the height of it.
Denmark struggling to find a way through this Northern Ireland resistance. Cross into the penalty area, good header away out towards the near side. Ball bounces once and goes out of play. Ballard's clearance results in a Danish throw-in.
That's where you go to sleep, Joel.
Yeah, took the throw in. Højbjerg got it. He's led it back. Eriksson hits the shot, takes a little deflection, and then is swept away. But just switched off there briefly.
Oh, he was lucky, Joel.
Hogsberg,
he was lucky.
If he lost the ball there, that was one-on-one.
He was never going to find. He was never going to catch Charles if he had got in front of him there.
Certainly not. Charles would have had a long way to go. He'd have been on the halfway line, but just a little warning. That's a better ball from Eriksson. Out comes the goalkeeper, gets two fists to it, punches the ball away, and the goalkeeper gets the free kick from the referee. He was brave there, Hazard.
Both of them were, Joel. Both of them, because I'm sure Hoyland must have had an eye on the goalkeeper. It was one of those where it was 50-50 and just who was going to get there first. And Hazard gets the punch, and then the two of them collided. Hopefully he looks all right. It looks as if the Dane may have come off a little bit worse. But this is a nice break for it. Just slow things down. Yeah. But again, Joel, we've got to try and get on the ball. And I keep saying it, to me, the player that can do that, well, one or two players, Charles or Galbraith, because Galbraith can pass the ball when he gets on it as well. But we just have to have that little bit of confidence.
Well, water break, referee.
He's very happy about that. I don't think there was a water break.
He's blowing his whistle about 4 or 5 times. Get back from the bar. It's closing time. No more drinks. So Hazard's going to take the free kick inside his own penalty area. Mixed season for Conor Hazard. The disappointment of relegation, but of course the highs of those FA Cup wins against Brentford and Liverpool.
That's the ones you remember, Joel.
What's wrong with the referee now? There's 2 balls on the pitch.
We were just saying, Joe, from that last throw-in down here, we went to sleep ever, for a little, just a split second, and Højbjerg gets away and creates a chance.
That's a foul throw, surely.
That's a foul throw. I don't think they know what a foul throw is anymore, because you see it all the time, and it's never penalised, or very rarely.
There's Christensen on the right-hand side for Denmark, and here's Højbjerg, the captain. He's seen a lot of the ball, a lot of possession. That's Eriksson. Eriksson helps it through. First time he tried to get it through to Højlund. That would have been 2 short passes that would have opened up Northern Ireland, but in the end the danger's cleared, but it's gone out of play on the near side, and it's going to be another throw-in for Denmark.
I think that's probably the one fault that you can hold against Conor Hazard, Joel. His distribution is not on a par with Pierce Charles.
Yeah,
I mean, that's 2 or 3. He's tried to find Devaney over here, and he's put it in the touch.
Anderson back to his own goalkeeper, Jorgensen, who himself has largely been a spectator, even though he's been beaten once. It's killed the crowd anyway, the goals on.
I tell you, there's absolutely, the crowd aren't in the game at all.
If any of them had tickets for the darts as well, they might think about heading over for the semi-finals and the final.
Devaney needs to have a little word with Pierce here, Joel, because he's getting outnumbered down here. You've got...
it's Højlund who's been released. Flag has stayed down. No, it's gone up. He looked offside.
He did,
and then that's why I wasn't going to interrupt you. And then
I was just saying, Joel,
goes up. But Price hasn't really helped him.
Price hasn't helped him, and there's times we've already said that Christensen is playing like a right winger, and Christensen and Isaacson aren't that far apart, and Devaney's got the 2 of them. He's got to, This is where I think when your young players coming into the side, you've got to realise what's happening around you, and you've got to be more. He's got to be stronger with Pierce and say, you've got to get here closer to me. You've got to give Price. You've got to get closer to me and give me a hand here, because I'm getting stretched trying to cover both of them.
Hazard again there. He kicks it straight out of play.
I mean, Bradley did well to try and keep it in, but the pace of the ball just meant he couldn't control it at all. Look, Eriksson. He's gone, Joel, and Price has let him go.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to pick that up.
That's a couple of times they've tried to work that ball into the feet of Højbjerg, and then he either goes straight to Eriksson, who helps it forward quickly, or on that occasion they went direct towards Højlund.
You can see what they're trying to do.
Yeah, trying to pick that gap right through the middle of the Northern Ireland team.
Great feet by Devaney again, Joel.
Charles down the left-hand side, just too much on it for Price, and it drifts out.
That really frustrates me, Joel. We're in the final third. We've got the ball at the guy we want to play, and he puts a terrible ball in and goes straight out for a goal kick. That's the opportunities where we got to get playing in their third, slow the game down, and give our back 3 or back 5 a little chance and a little breather.
Højbjerg out to this near side, and Christensen.
Every time Christensen picks the ball up, Joel, he should be facing Price there, and more often than not he's not. If you just look at it here, Price doesn't even know Eriksson's there.
Højbjerg ends up passing the ball straight out of play.
They're starting to get frustrated, Joel, because their passing has become sloppy as well, and nothing is happening. Absolutely nothing's happening.
Half an hour gone. Northern Ireland lead in Copenhagen by a goal to 0. Shea Charles with his first international goal. Don't think he'll be at Sheffield Wednesday next season.
I tell you, he's a good player, Joe.
Southampton's relegation, does it mean that he stays there and plays more for them?
Well,
West Ham have been linked with him as well.
Bradley's done well. He was under pressure there. That looked like a foul.
I think he's conceded the corner though.
Yeah, I thought it was a foul. I thought it was Norgard out there. Leaned on him a little bit as he tried to clear it.
Eriksson's going to take the corner. It's going to be an in-swinger, right-footed from the left-hand side. They've gone back post with every single one of these nearly so far. This one goes near post.
Yeah, it's great defending by Bradley.
Bradley does well.
It was a poor delivery by Eriksson. You've got to get a little higher than that. I mean, Bradley didn't even have to jump to head that cleared.
The thing that shocks me about Christian Eriksson, given all he's been through in terms of the games that he missed with his medical situation, John, 143rd cap tonight. He's only 33.
I know, I was surprised when you told me that. He definitely looks older.
Denmark's most capped player.
In his heyday, he was a player though, Joel, wasn't he?
44 goals. He's chasing 52 for the record in terms of goal scoring as well. And Hazard's gone down here.
I'm wondering, is he feeling the effects?
Is he hurt after the clash when he came out with a punch?
I'm wondering, is it his hamstring, Joel, because his kicking hasn't been good.
I'm not sure if it's that or if it's... I think they're going to show us the replay here of the clash. He lands awkwardly after he punches the ball away.
You can see him grabbing his foot there, you know. Just wondering, is it a hamstring?
So
it's a shame for the lad if he has to come off. You know, he's been turning up regularly, you know, and not getting as many games as he probably thinks he should have, and there's been no complaints for him. And then when he gets a chance in a great stadium like this against a good Danish team, and this happens to him.
Pierce Charles is out warming up. Luke Southwood would be the other goalkeeping option.
I would think it would be Charles. I would think, It's a strange atmosphere now, considering how the atmosphere that was in the ground just before kick-off. But everything is just going really quiet. Crowd's quiet. But to be fair, although they've had a lot of possession, Denmark haven't given them much to cheer about.
He's still down, is Hazard.
Yeah, I was just seeing the goal again, Joel. You're right. The header, I think, came off his thigh, didn't it? After.
Yeah.
They might give that as an own goal, you know.
Yeah. We have a monitor which is kind of meant to give us official information. The monitor says Shea Charles. So, who knows?
Yeah.
The last touch is definitely off the defender.
Yeah. How come you've got that on your screen, Joe, and I don't?
Because you've got pictures of the match on your screen, John.
Have you got none at all then?
No, I only have
you
that.
Just got there. Maybe it's because...
Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous, John. So, Conor Hazard is still down. So, I don't know if that means that we're going to have to make the change. I mean, are they just... Are they just keeping him there and making it look as if they're giving him treatment to give Pierce Charles a chance to get ready?
Possibly.
Or is he going to be able to continue? So the referee's telling the medical staff they have to go off behind the goal so they can get the game restarted.
Well, I don't think Charles is even looking as if he's going to get ready, Joe.
He's stretching his leg out, John. It is his right leg. I don't know if it's what it is, his knee or his foot or something, but it's so he's going to continue.
Isaacson's having a go at the referee again about the decisions he hasn't been getting.
Right, we're going to start again, and Conor Hazard is still on the pitch, and it will be a throw in for Northern Ireland on the right hand side. Still 1-0 in front. Takes the credit. Alex has given the ball to Price, and Northern Ireland have it in the Danish half. Devaney putting the brakes on and then giving it to Shea Charles. Devaney once more tries to poke us through to Charles, and Charles uses his body well, and Christensen goes down like a sack of spuds right in front of the Danish technical area.
He's run into the back of Shea Charles. I don't know whether he's smacked it. Yeah, he did actually smack his head right off the back.
Shea Charles back.
Yeah. I'm having a little moan about that, I think. He certainly feels hard done by Joe.
Devaney takes the throw in.
Galbraith can't get in the game at all, Joel, and it's not like him to give the ball away so easily.
No.
This guy, that's a foul, surely.
Has to be a foul on Devaney.
I think he's taking a little bit of oh no, it actually was Christensen. I thought it was Isaacson again. Devaney's touch and his passing, Joel, has been excellent.
Yeah,
he's been really under pressure when he's been defending, but going forward he's been excellent.
Got his FA Cup winners medal locked away, even though he didn't get any minutes in the final. But it's been a great season for him at Palace.
Absolutely, and we were talking about the lads that are on the fringes of the first teams in the Premiership. It would be brilliant if maybe 2 or 3 of them could break through as well and give you maybe 6 players that are based in the Premiership. And it's been a long time since we've had that.
Devaney's going to take the free kick from the left-hand side. Takes it short. And then it's obviously something they've had a look at and worked on. Long one towards Bradley. Well, he pulls it down really well, Bradley, and then he's barged over.
That's a foul, sure.
Looked like a foul. Bradley honest enough to get back up again. Keeps on going. He's been pulled back there. That's a card, surely, this time. But if it's not a friendly, that's a yellow card.
Yeah, it definitely is, yeah. It's one of those ones you've got.
Brilliant from Bradley.
The referee has got to say, you've got to have a word with them, otherwise I'm going to book you. The actual free kick, Joel, as well worked, and originally you thought they were going to cross it in from this left-hand side, but they took it short, walked it across the back 4, and then crossed it from the right. And I think it was aimed at Bradley, and I think it was Galbraith from there, just actually overhit it.
Well, even the first touch, the way he pulls it down, Bradley, then he gets himself back up again after he's been bumped over, and then the run that he goes on that draws the free kick from Isaacson. It's brilliant. Yeah, so the free kick is 5 yards outside the penalty area as the goalkeeper would look towards the right side of his box.
Yeah, it's in line with the penalty spot, so to speak.
So
this is a great opportunity here.
Certainly is. Bradley hits it himself and he's overhit it and straight through and out of play for a goal kick. That's a waste.
A total waste. After giving him all those plaudits and what Joel now he does that on you.
7 minutes.
The best players can do it as well.
7 minutes plus stoppage time to go at the end of the first half. There will be a lot of stoppage time.
There will be.
So you're looking at least 5. Goalkeeper Conor Hazard was down for quite a bit. Of course, it was the restart after the goal. So we could have 4 or 5 additional minutes. They come again on the left-hand side. Denmark this time with Mela, and then it's all the way back to Anderson.
He's going back to he's changed his mind. I thought he was going back to the goal. Well, it may go back to the goalkeeper yet, Joel. I mean, that's good play with Northern Ireland. They're not giving them any outs, and they're forcing them back to the goalkeeper. And now they've just started to pump it up the park. But there again, Joel, there's that sort of loose ball
straight through the middle, and too much weight on the pass. But if it's a better pass,
he's
Isaacson's in.
But Hazard done well to read it, Joel, and made it look easy. That's a lovely ball.
Better from Price. Bradley over on the far side. Nobody in a white shirt near him.
He needs help. McConville's got to get up there for him. 2
red shirts around him. Decent pass on that. Is that a foul? Assistant referee says no. It's very close to it. Clearance only finds Shea Charles. Nice little 1-2. Still available. It's better. 3 or 4 or 5 passes from Northern Ireland inside the Danish half.
Good play.
Back towards Ballard.
Get it out here. Get it out to Devaney.
Hume.
Give it to him.
It has Devaney here on the near side. Devaney.
Well done a little bit there, Joel, but I think he should have got the ball a lot quicker.
Yeah.
McCann's unfortunate there. Ericsson's lost the ball and he's not expected it, and then he's run into the back of him. And
Ali McCann's just saying to Devaney, play it forward. Under that sort of pressure, don't come inside.
Don't come inside, is right. Just play it forward.
If we're going to lose it close to their 18-yard box.
Absolutely right.
Not in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
Christian Eriksson turns and finds Anderson. Anderson, right-footed. Little pirouette, was able to find Damsgaard.
The one thing they haven't done, Joel, well, they've done it a couple of times early on in the game, is that get behind us.
Cross in towards the back post. Header is not towards goal, it's actually away from goal.
A good clearance by Price. I was just going to say there, Joel, you haven't got it after those few early scares with Isaacson down this right-hand side. They hadn't got round the back of this, but that was the one that they did, and luckily we were able to have the numbers on the back post to get it away.
Højbjerg gets it back again. And Denmark in possession. Almost given away by the debutant Højbjerg.
They're taking chances here.
He's been nervy, hasn't he, Højbjerg?
Yeah.
He's only 18.
Yeah, it's his debut, yeah.
But
he looks a young lad as well, doesn't he?
He was the one that had the pass that went straight out of play, and he's nearly been caught in possession a couple of times.
We got to get that. Again.
Won by
so
Galbraith, then he gave it away, and all of a sudden it's space this time. Denmark. It's Mela who's running forward, the full-back. Not a great pass from him. Bradley was able to get a toe to it, and that's put the brakes on Denmark, but Damsgaard has it back again. Mela once more. This is Norgard, plays the cross into the box.
Great header by Hume.
Hume does well to win the header.
Oh, great ball by Price. Whether he meant that, I don't know.
If he meant that down to Dion Charles, it was brilliant.
Take your time. What are you rushing about? A good play by Dion Charles, held it up and brought the free kick. But again, Joel, great play by Bradley, because Bradley's been caught in between two players there, and he didn't commit the one, as the cross came over. By doing that, he was able to get the tackle in and get it cleared.
So the free kick for Northern Ireland will be taken by the goalkeeper. Conor Hazard's going to come out of his area, and he's going to take it.
This is where we need a good ball up to the front three. It can't be too big. You've got to give them something to be able to challenge for. That's a great ball.
Yeah.
Again, unfortunate with the pass. You can't lose it there.
Middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
Denmark have it again.
Yeah, and McConville's out of position when he does that. He can't afford as a centre back there to lose it there.
There's Anderson. Northern Ireland got the players back now in their own half. Fourth official will be coming out in a couple of minutes with his board. If Northern Ireland can get in here 1-0 up, John,
yeah,
it'll be a brilliant effort in the first half.
It will be.
Isaacson continued his run. Referee has to get out of the way.
Got to get to him.
There's a man over here on the right hand side. Bradley has now gone across to that side. Eriksson has the ball, plays a little 1-2 on the edge of the box. Eriksson's going to go on an overlapping run. Might fall to Norgard on the edge of the box, or Damsgaard rather. And then the pass is behind Højbjerg, and he's pointing that he wants it played
he wanted it
towards
the box,
the goal.
Joel, yeah.
They actually play it behind him, and it's out for a throw-in.
But that goes to what we've been saying all along. Right through the season, they play across the front of the 18-yard box, and that makes it easy for the defender. And the Højbjerg is right, Joel. If he plays that into the 18-yard box, we've got problems because everybody has turned. But he doesn't. He tries to play it square, across the box again, and it's a poor ball, and it goes out for a goal kick. I
do laugh at current footballers and Højbjerg, who knows that that's an awful pass, and it wasn't what he gives the thumb up. Can you imagine that 15, 20 years ago?
You tear your hair off,
Imagine the Northern Ireland team that you played in. You played a pass like that.
3 or 4.
What you'd have been told.
Yeah. Again, it's a poor pass.
Northern Ireland giving possession away cheaply. Maybe tired minds.
Ballard needs to be careful here.
End of a long season.
Yeah, you've got to allow for that as well, Joel.
Somebody was saying, I think this is the 56th game that Craig Hume has played this season.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
It's a free kick, is it? I think the referee's blowing his whistle.
Yeah, it's a free kick.
It's good, 25, 30 yards out, though.
Yeah.
Eriksson has the ball. He's placed it pretty central, maybe in line with the goalkeeper's right-hand post. Conor Hazard. Does he want a wall?
I think he's going to have a go here, Joel.
There's no wall.
No.
3 minutes of additional time. Surprised it's only 3.
We've always said that, Joe. We used to do that in training a few times. The goalkeeper set, free kicks up 20 or 30 yards outside the box.
Eriksson, right-footed, doesn't shoot. Tries to clip it towards the back post. Played a cross goal and headed away for the corner.
It was well worked, Price needed to get a lot closer there. That's the first time we've lost that ball at the back post. The first time Anderson's got free, and it was good. I think if Trey Hume doesn't get the clearance, possibly Hazard may have picked it up, but you can't wait for that.
Eriksson over another set piece corner this time, right footed into the penalty area, headed out towards the edge of the 18-yard box. It's a poor one by Isaacson. He just basically hit it up in the air. Not sure.
It's not a great header by McConville either.
I don't think he knew how much time he had, actually. McConville, he thought he had to head it away, and he could have brought that down. We're in the additional 3 minutes at the end of the first period. Northern Ireland leading 1-0.
I thought it'd been a lot more than 3.
Low one into feet this time. Isaacson, chance to get the shot away, bottom corner, and in stoppage time at the end of the first half, Denmark find a way through. It's the danger man, Gustav Isaacson from Lazio, with his 3rd international goal.
Yeah, we just weren't set, Joel. As we were talking about, the tired legs and the mental side of it. We just didn't get set for the free kick, and we just gave him too much room outside the 18-yard box. You're just watching it again. Look, he's snuck in between the three centre backs, and nobody in the midfield picked him up. And it's a great finish. But if you watch it again, look, he's in here, Joel. Nobody marking him. Nobody marking him.
He uses Trey Hume, I think, as well, to block the side of the goalkeeper.
Yeah. But if you look at it again, Joel, we've got a man over on this left-hand side, and basically, I think it was probably Devaney, and he should have been pushing Ballard over closer to him to deny him the room. But that's you learn the game as you go along, Joel, and I'm sure, if he's sitting watching the replay of that, he will know himself that he should have took responsibility to tell Ballard to get closer to Isaacson, knowing that he wasn't covering on the 18-yard box. But you've got to learn the game as well.
They've also taken the goal off Shea Charles on my screen. They've given it to Højbjerg as an own goal.
I suppose when you look at it again, Joel, they were going to do that.
So Shea Charles doesn't have his first international goal.
But that's disappointing, Joel. I mean, now probably in the next, there's only 20 or 30 odd seconds left in the half. They'll be disappointed with that.
So regroup at half time and see what happens. Denmark looking for another goal maybe at the end of the first half in this period of stoppage time.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
Isaacson again. This time he puts a cross into the penalty area from the right hand side.
Yeah, we've got to close him down quicker. And then Isaacson again.
There's the whistle, John.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Joe, when you look at the first half, they've played brilliantly for 44 and a half minutes, and they lost the goal. Now you're going to lose goals against teams of the quality of Denmark, so I wouldn't be too unhappy about that. I'm happy that you're losing the goal just before half time.
You just need to be a bit more careful in the opportunities when they do win the ball back and keep it for longer.
That's what you've got to take from this. You've got to keep the ball. When you get the ball, you've got to get more use of it. But overall, they're going in one each. Is a good performance. The goal will be disappointed about, but again, I would say that the positives that Michael will be thinking about, we defended well, we kept our shape well, and it's when we had the ball, we just didn't keep it long enough to create any sort of chance outside of when we scored the goal.
So after 6 minutes, Northern Ireland took the lead. Good play down the left-hand side from Justin Devaney, cross into the box. Shea Charles got his head to it. But it's been given as an own goal. The last touch was off Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, so that goes down as an own goal. And then in stoppage time at the end of the first half, the equaliser, Isaacson with the strike from the edge of the box, and Conor Hazard was beaten. Conor Hazard, for all the possession that Denmark hadn't had a save to make in the first half.
No.
But that effort in stoppage time at the end of the first half means the half-time score here in Copenhagen is Denmark 1, Northern Ireland 1.
And back here in Belfast, you're in the company of Mark Sidebottom, Keith Gillespie and George McCartney. It was an interesting first half because, as Joel said, Northern Ireland make that whirlwind start, Keith. And then you're thinking to yourself, they're set fairly quiet in the stadium, but caught with a sucker punch. And that was a quality strike to bring the Danes level from Isaacson.
It was. I think if you look at the game, probably our best performer's been Devaney. And ironically, our best player's probably been Isaacson, who is up against Devaney. But Devaney's been very, very good going forward. But despite all the possession, they didn't create anything at all. And we thought we were going to go in with that lead intact. But you switch off for a few seconds. I think it was a great ball into Isaacson and a really good finish. But I think we should be encouraged because we've defended really well. They haven't hurt us at all, despite the possession that they've had, and we can feel a little bit aggrieved that we're getting one each because that's our first shot on target, and it says a lot for the players the way they've worked that we've restricted them to that.
George, I'll bring you in a second, but at the unconventional hour of about 8.5 minutes to the hour of 7, we are going now to pause and say it is time for the BBC Radio Ulster News.
BBC News NI on Radio Ulster and on BBC Sounds.
Good evening, I'm Gráinne McKinney. Reports from Gaza say there's been another deadly shooting involving Israeli soldiers near an aid distribution site. The Hamas-run civil defence agency said 6 people were killed. Israel's military said it fired warning shots at suspects who approached them in a threatening manner. The Israeli government does not allow international journalists, including the BBC, into Gaza. The BBC's correspondent in Jerusalem, Barbara Plett-Usher, has more details.
The company or the organisation that runs these distribution centres shut things down for a bit this week, trying to improve the centres, trying to improve because there's been massive overcrowding, and also to improve the safety. But it looks as if there's still that kind of dynamic where the Palestinians who gather for food in the morning are in danger of either death or injury.
One of Russia's most intense bombardments yet of Ukraine's second biggest city, Kharkiv, has killed at least 3 people and injured more than 20 others. Local officials say more than 50 drones, missiles and guided bombs were used overnight. A 5G mast has been set on fire in West Belfast. The blaze on the Springbank Industrial Estate in Dunmurry was reported shortly before 3 o'clock this afternoon. The fire service extinguished the fire, which police are treating as deliberate ignition. Sir David Attenborough has told the Prince of Wales he's appalled by the damage some fishing practices are causing to the world's oceans. The 99-year-old broadcaster was speaking to Prince William at the premiere of his new documentary, Ocean, last month. The film contains vivid new images of the impact of bottom trawling and dredging, images discussed by the pair in a conversation filmed by Kensington Palace.
Dave, from what you've obviously seen over the years, what states would you say the oceans are in right now?
The thing which I am appalled by when I first saw the shots that were taken for this film are what we have done to the deep ocean floor is just unspeakably awful. I mean, if you did anything remotely like it on land, everybody would be up in arms.
And some traffic news. The Ballymcgowan Road in Clogher is closed between its junctions with the Station Road and Corrick Road following a road traffic collision. Motorists are asked to seek an alternative route. With the weather, here's Cecilia.
The last of any showers will die away. There'll be some sunshine to end the day, but it will be cool and breezy. Overnight, some cloud and showers will move in from the west during the early hours. It'll be quite chilly in places, with temperatures dropping to 3 or 4 degrees locally. Tomorrow will be brighter and a little warmer. There'll be some sunshine, but there'll also be scattered showers, some of them heavy, highs of 15 to 17 degrees.
BBC News.
Why are some songs considered subversive, provocative, or even dangerous?
Everyone had this mad look in their eyes.
I'm Declan Harvey, and in Banned by the BBC, I explore songs which have pushed the boundaries.
It's good that we do look at morals. You've got to draw the line somewhere.
With topics like war, drugs, religion, and in the first episode, sex.
Your opinion of this changes when you have children.
Banned by the BBC. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound International Football. Listen live on digital, online or on BBC Sounds.
Just gone 5 minutes to 7, coming to you live from the studios in Belfast on an evening of international friendly football. Northern Ireland took the lead after 6 minutes at the Parkin Stadium. Shea Charles thought he had got it, but it eventually has been credited officially to Højbjerg, the Danish captain. And then in injury time at the death, almost on the final whistle, brilliant through ball to Gustav Isaacson, and Isaacson has made it 1-1 there. In the studio with me here in Belfast, former Northern Ireland internationals Keith Gillespie and George McCartney. George, just to clear up the goal, I know that Shea Charles would have loved it, and we did think initially it was his, but off Højbjerg's knee, any disputation from you in terms of the awarding of the goal as an OG?
No, I think the more you watch the replays back, it's quite obvious it's an own goal, but just on the build up to the goal, it was actually really good play from Northern Ireland in terms of pressing high up the pitch. What they did in the first 5 or 10 minutes, it forced the poor pass from Højbjerg, and Devaney he spotted that there. No, he stepped onto the ball, and he started the game really well. He put in a good cross, and obviously which led to the own goal. I'm sure Charles is still trying to claim it in the changing room, but no, it's definitely an own goal.
John O'Neill saying, and he's live in the park and alongside Joe, that Devaney probably our best player, guys. Watching from Belfast, you don't get the same sense in the full picture, but are you in agreement with that, Keith?
Yeah, I think he's looked lively. Going forward, he's won a couple of fouls higher up the pitch as well, which gives you a breather because we don't have a lot of the ball, so there is a lot of chasing to be done, and that's when people switch off, when you're tired and you're chasing after the ball. So it's important that we keep that same discipline, because I'd imagine it's going to be the same in the second half. Because I think if you look at some of our players, Ethan Galbraith, I'm sure he's probably had about 5 touches first half. Isaac Price has had very little.
Yeah.
Alistair McCann has had very little. We just haven't had any controlled possession. So when we do get the ball, we need to keep hold of it a lot better, because in the first half we were getting possession and just giving it away too cheaply.
That probably comes from as well. You watch Northern Ireland out of possession; they're so compact. They're trying to close off the spaces through the middle of the pitch and force the ball wide. And when we do turn it over and pick up the second balls around, for midfielders, there's not actually a pass on, because we're sitting so deep as a defence or as a team. And when Galbraith, who's given away a few times, he picks it up, he really only has that forward pass to Charles, but that's probably blocked off, and it's difficult. But I'm sure Michael's discussing that now. Again, out of possession, really good, but in possession, we need to tidy up.
Let's talk about the Danes for a moment, Keith, because as I said, Northern Ireland had really quietened the park and stadium. The game had become a bit broken and bitty, and then there's that 3 or 4 minute pause for Hazard where we thought he might have had to go off, but has managed to stay. But the goal itself, Isaacson, the quality phenomenal. But talk me through the ball from Damsgaard. John O'Neill was critical of Northern Ireland's defence, but I thought the quality of that really unpicked the defence.
Yeah, it was great pace on the pass, and Isaacson knew that he had that little bit of space to turn, and he has got a good sort of low centre of gravity, and he managed just to jink one way and create that space to get the shot. And John said it in commentary, he just used Trey Hume as a guide just to curl it round him, and Hazard was probably unsighted a little bit by where Trey Hume was, but I mean before that they were sort of devoid of any ideas, which was good for us, because anything they tried to do we dealt with easily. But I think it's good play, Isaacson getting into that little pocket of space. You can be critical, that nobody was close enough to him, but that is going to happen in games where players are going to get a little bit of space. But the one time that it does happen, they punish us.
And is that what the better teams try and do? It's the better players. They're looking to get in between the lines, behind your midfield and front of your defence, where the team defending, they're not really sure who's picking them up. As a defender, do a step out here and don't let him turn and get a shot off. And we talk about the pass into Isaacson there, but also his first touch.
Yeah.
The pace of the pass, he's just killed it and then he shifted it. And if you look at Ballard, I think he's actually taken a step to his right when Isaacson is actually cut inside his right foot, and he's bent it into the corner. It's a tough one, and again, Ballard can see the bigger picture, so it's maybe down to him to step out a wee bit quicker.
I think when somebody scores, you always look for, could we have avoided that? And for me, probably, I think it's just good play. Isaacson's been playing on the right hand side, but he has drifted in, and as George says, that gives you a problem then to who picks him up. And that's probably why he's just got that little bit of space.
Just watching the pictures coming in live in the park and stadium, and I see Charles, the sub-goalkeeper, warming up there. So potentially a change there, because it did look like a pretty nasty and awkward and heavy fall Hazard had, guys. So you wouldn't be surprised if we were to see that change in the second half, and maybe even Michael was going to look at that anyway.
Yeah, that might have been the plan in the first case. but I'd be very surprised if Hazard come out in the second half. I mean, this is a friendly at the end of the day. I mean, if there's any doubt, you go off. You don't want to be causing yourself any more damage. And, we know what Pierce Charles can do. And obviously Michael does. He maybe hasn't seen enough of Conor Hazard, playing for Northern Ireland. I'm sure he's seen him plenty for Plymouth. But, it was a good opportunity for Conor Hazard tonight. And he had nothing to do, to be fair. The only thing he happened to do was pick the ball out of the back of the net. But, he didn't really have any crosses to come for or anything. John sort of said it, maybe his distribution isn't as good as what Pierce Charles is, and he'd be wanting to improve on that, because that is an important part of being a goalkeeper nowadays.
A result from Group K World Cup qualifier: Andorra 0, England 1. England have just managed on the road to Andorra to squeak past them. It was a Harry Kane with the only goal of the game there, that one coming in the 50th minute. The Danes and Northern Ireland both coming back out onto the field of play, lads. So we'll press pause back here in Belfast, and we will say once again good evening to the Parkin Stadium team, and that of course is John O'Neill and Joel Taggart. All yours, gents.
Yes, players coming back out, so we'll have a look down below us and see what happens in terms of a potential goalkeeping change.
Well, the goalkeeper hasn't come out, Joel, so I presume that Shea Charles is on the halfway line, ready to come on here.
Pierce Charles.
Pierce Charles, yes.
Or Dion Charles. Or Shea Charles. Pierce Charles is definitely the one that has the gloves on.
Yeah, he's down there. I think they're just waiting to get the board up. Outside of that, I don't think there's any others.
I think we know who he's coming on for. We could live without the board, How did we ever live without the electronic board?
Incredible,
what was happening. So Pierce Charles is going to come on. He'll be 20 next month. Would have been his 7th start in a row tonight, but ended up on the bench.
I'm just hoping Isaac Price, Joe, gets that goal.
Yes. And he managed to score 4 internationals in a row. Become the first player to do it since Billy Irvine in 1966. Burnley striker. He actually scored in 5 consecutive games in that sequence. Isaac Price would become only the 2nd player to do it, scoring 4 internationals in a row. Sammy Wilson, the only other, not that Sammy Wilson. This was Sammy Wilson in 1963 and 1964. So, change between the posts. Pierce Charles comes on, and he'll be hoping for as quiet an evening as Conor Hazard had, because bar the goal, Conor Hazard had absolutely nothing to do.
Nothing to do.
So, Denmark up and at it again. They maybe have a spring in their step after scoring that goal so late on. They have a great record in home international friendlies. They've won 10 of their last 11 home friendlies. The only exception was a draw against Switzerland. They haven't lost a friendly at home for, wait for it, nearly 10 years. And that was France. It was here, and it was in October 2015, and it was 2-1 that night. And on the same night, Northern Ireland drew in Finland and topped their qualifying group for the Euros in 2016. And of course, nobody left here tonight because Paddy McNair's away home, who was actually a part of that experience. That's how long ago it is. You think how long ago it was since that night in Finland? That's how long ago it was since Denmark lost a friendly here at home.
I can understand it, Joel. I mean, we were talking about it.
The atmosphere.
The atmosphere here, and the crowd is right on top of you. So it's a very intimidating place for, not only Northern Ireland to come, but for any national side.
So it seems. Galbraith trying to get away down the right.
It's nonsense. Well, it looked from here that it was a Northern Ireland throw, unless it just caught him the way out.
Throw in for Mela to take. If you're just tuning in, Pierce Charles, the goalkeeper now. Back three of Hume, Ballard and McConville. Bradley on the right, Devaney on the left, Charles and McCann, the two centre midfield players, and then Galbraith and Price supporting Dion Charles. And for the home side, Philip Jorgensen is the goalkeeper, Chelsea goalkeeper. And it's Christensen, Anderson, Hogsberg and Mela, the back four. Højbjerg, Norgard and Eriksson the midfield three, and Højlund flanked by Isaacson, the goal scorer, and Damsgaard.
Sorry, I was just laughing there, Joe. There's another instance of goal throw in there, and the referee, the assistant referee, had a clue who to give it to.
Yes, just make it up as you go along.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely little double by Christian Eriksen. A pull of the shirt by Trey Hume, which was not in any way subtle, and the referee produces.
Yeah, it was a brilliant ball out of defence, and it goes to Eriksson. He steps over it, and it goes to Højbjerg, plays the 1-2, and to be fair, he knew he was caught, and there was not much else he could do there. He just pulled him back and deserved a yellow card. Lovely bit of skill.
Christian Eriksen, who has 13 goals more, John, than the whole of the.
Go on, what is it?
The whole of the Northern Ireland squad combined. And in terms of the starting 11 tonight,
this is offside, Joel. This is going to be flagged.
In terms of the starting 11 tonight, Northern Ireland starting 11 at 22 goals. Eriksen at 44. Cross into the penalty area, is headed behind for a corner.
I can't believe he didn't flag that.
No.
And Ballard's rightly complaining. He's miles off. I thought it was one of those when he's just going to let it go, see how it plays out. And he's just well, he's either forgot or he just can't be bothered putting his flag up. But he looked miles offside.
Eriksen will take the corner. He raises his left arm in towards the near post, and that's a much better corner towards the near post. And Christensen, who is the right back,
just didn't get enough on it, Joel. Yeah. Just didn't get enough on it to get it past that near post.
Scored in the last game against Portugal, Christensen, which they ended up losing 5-2 after extra time. A Nations League thriller against Portugal. 3-3 after the two legs. Portugal then kicked on in extra time and made it through. And of course they went on and had a great one against Germany.
Sorry, Joel. I mean, again, that's Price. Gets the ball at his feet in a great position and just loses it right away. And now we're under the cosh again.
Melo on the left-hand side up against Bradley. Melo goes backwards. And it's Hogsberg.
Good tackle.
Yeah, well won back. It's better from Price.
You've got to get your head up. Got to find a pass.
Running towards the far side, tries to knock it forward for Dion Charles, who's chasing a lost cause. It does well, wins a throw in.
Just let it go out for a throw in, gives it a little breather, brings us further up the field.
Throw in will be on the left hand side for Northern Ireland, midway inside the Danish half. It'll be taken by Justin Devaney.
How old is Devaney, Joel?
Devaney's 21.
Yeah, he looks young, lad.
Oh, they all look young, John.
Compared to me, they do.
It's fantastic. Whenever we went out in the metro today in Copenhagen, John, I went to buy the tickets, and John said, "No, I'm a senior. I qualify as a senior."
I can't believe you just said that.
Might get a discount. You were hoping for free travel, weren't you?
Oh, it was for nothing.
But still had to pay half price.
Oh, I get it at home, so why not here?
It's not the way it works, John. Next time I have any of the ministers on Good Morning Ulster, I'll ask them if they can extend your free travel to Denmark, other countries in Europe. Mike Nesbitt's going to send people for operations all over Europe. Why can you not get free travel, John? I mean, this is the way it should work.
Oh, Mike was a good lad. I remember him years ago, Joe, when he was doing the commentaries. We had good times with Mike.
I only thought that was difficult. No, we can't go any further, John. I get in big trouble.
You will.
No, that's a good pass again. And an attempt by Damsgaard just to take it on the left foot, turn and play the first time pass with his right foot, but too much on it.
Yeah, that's where they're looking to play, Joe, right down the middle, and they've...
Pierce charged with the throw. Giving possession away. Here's Eriksson on the edge of the box, pokes it through. Nice little pass, and Pierce Charles holds his hands up, apologises for the throw, but he will take risks.
He will, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day,
and in the past we've seen them pay off.
Yeah, just a poor throw, and Eriksson's little touch into the box was just, for us, thankfully, just a little too much pace on it. But I mean, this is going to be the exact same pattern as the first half, Joel. And you got to think, you've got to make sure that your concentration is 100%, and that's going to be difficult as the legs begin to tire as the game goes on.
Charles with the longer clearance this time, and Hume has to step in, win a header. Shea Charles tries to poke it forward, but he's just knocked it straight under the head of Norgard.
It's a soft free kick. Just a little touch and Eriksson went down. Strange game for me sometimes, Joe. You know, I mean, in my day there was absolutely no way that was going to be a free kick. There was no way you would have went down because you knew you were never going to get it. But the game's moved on now and the contact is almost ruled out completely.
Stoppages, of course, don't help the game.
No.
Wonder where he'll end up next season, Christian Eriksen.
He must love the game, Joel, because he's done most things in it, like, and he still wants to play, considering, you know, the difficulties he had. Must have a great love for the game.
There are 3 Northern Ireland defenders around the edge of the box. Pierce, Charles seemed reluctant to give it to any of them, which is probably a good idea.
I think they're doing that, Joel, just to slow the game down. I don't think they have any intention of playing it to either of the 3 centre halves.
I think it would be madness in the current set of circumstances.
See there, again, we just can't get that final ball.
We win it back and then give it away, straight away.
That really sums up this season, Joel. That's a great through ball and he doesn't see it and hits him in the back of the heel.
I was actually about to say, John, I actually forgot that Hoyland was actually on the pitch.
Oh, he's not offside.
Charles was onside.
He's a mile onside.
Bradley's paid the pass into him, and he's now saying that Charles, you were onside. What were you doing?
What was he letting it go for? He obviously didn't look across the line because he was at least 4 or 5 yards onside there.
Player on the far side of the pitch was playing him on, and Bradley knew it. Here comes Damsgaard on the left-hand side. Finds Mela, the left back. Plays for Wolfsburg. Over 50 caps for him.
That's good play again. We've slowed them down again. That's a handball, surely.
Højbjerg keeps going. Got a little shot of Stephen Davis on the monitor, who of course is part of the coaching staff along with Michael O'Neill. And Højbjerg spent a few years along with Stephen Davis at Southampton, of course. It is playing Des. Steve Davis is playing Des. So they had a little chat and a bit of a catch up before the game.
Oh, Gilbraith.
Gilbraith's going to be caught in position.
Not at the races at all, Joel.
No.
And that's unlike him.
He's the break down the right hand side for Isaacson, the goal scorer. He's trying to go the long way round. Hume's trying to hold him up. Isaacson still has it. 2 Northern Ireland players now around him. Finds Eriksson. Low cross into the box, cleared away by Ballard. Only as far as Højbjerg. Plays it short and square. Anderson then gets a touch. Eriksson helps it further wide to the right hand side. Denmark still have it in and around the edge of the Northern Ireland penalty area. A bit of space now on that far side. It's a deep cross in towards the back post. Bradley tries to win the header. Goalkeeper didn't know if it was going wide or going inside the post, and he has to push it away for a corner kick.
Yeah, he did right, Joel. I don't think it was going into the goal, but he's not to know that and made sure Bradley's got a knock on the head. But Galbraith is not at the races to all today, Joel, and I would say that, you know, on the bench they've got to be thinking of making a change there because the lad doesn't look comfortable, and the longer the game goes on, you know, I think it's going to play on his mind a little bit because he was in loads of space there, and instead of going forward, you know, he's lacking that confidence and he turns back into trouble, and that's now he ends up with a corner.
There's Eriksson again. Another one of these set pieces right across the face. It goes a great ball. It's the best cross of the night.
Cross, yeah. He'd be disappointed that nobody got on the end of that.
Well, that's where you're looking Højland to be, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
That's why he hasn't scored as many goals as he should have done for Manchester United, isn't it?
He's been a big disappointment, Joe. You know, maybe, you know, it's the Premiership is just a step too high.
Well, did he just have this burst?
Yeah.
Like 7 of his 8 international goals even came in 2023.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
He's only scored one since. Eriksson again. Surely somebody's going to go into that area where the ball went the last time after the great delivery. Well, that delivery's not as good. Sliced by Bradley. That's a shank and another corner.
And that was a poor one, and as I say, Bradley just shanked it out for another corner. But you know this is coming right into the same spot again, unless they're going out for Isaacson right at the back post where nobody's picking them up at the minute.
It's a deeper one towards the back post. Free header across goal. Ballard heads it off the line, headed towards goal. Need off the line by Bradley. 2 clearances off the line in quick succession, and then the referee gives Northern Ireland a free kick inside the 18-yard box.
That's great defending. Now, at the end of the day, Joe, I thought it was a foul in the back post. You know, I thought he was. Well, that's definitely a free kick. You know,
No, it's just a good
it's
header.
Not. It's a good header. It's a good header. I would be
Anderson.
disappointed if I was Anderson and that had been given as a free kick. It's a great header, and Ballard does brilliant to get back on the line, and then Bradley, does the same again.
Northern Ireland survive, still 1-1.
Yeah.
Approaching the hour mark. Grey skies in Copenhagen.
He kicks a good ball, Joel, doesn't he? I mean, that's halfway inside the Danish half. Again, there's that ball, Joel, that we just keep giving it away.
Yeah, Shea Charles hasn't been at his best tonight.
No, he hasn't. As the lads were saying at half time as well, we look at McCann as well, we looked at Galbraith, they can't get in the game, and George is making a good point, Joel. We're winning it under pressure all the time. We're not winning in space, which doesn't give us the opportunity to create anything. It's like we've won it again, but there's still 3 or 4 reds around us. Oh, that's what Charles is
brilliant. That
is brilliant.
So good.
That's schoolboy stuff there. Charles has got to know he's a mile offside.
We play on because the goalkeeper has the ball anyway, so no point in stopping the match.
No, but that's the Shea Charles you can play, Joel, and he just looks so effortless
in tight spaces.
Yeah, just to make that space for him.
Ali McCann wins the ball back. Referee lets the play continue. Happy with a little bit of contact. Here's Bradley coming forward. First touch. That's just a little bit heavy.
Yeah, that's been the way it has been all night. Not only Bradley, but everybody. Their first touch is killing us. Well, that was a great opportunity there. You expect him to take that in his stride, Joel, and go outside, on the right-hand side and get a shot across.
You're just expecting the touch and bang, shot on goal. Højbjerg gets it forward again for Denmark. It's a good pass. Hume needs to get there, and he does. Sliding challenge.
He just gets better and better, Joel. When he first came in the side, I wasn't convinced by him, but I have to say, his game has improved week by week, game by game.
4 years ago, Johnny just returned to Linfield after a loan spell at Ballymena United, and now he's looking forward to playing in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, that's tremendous, when you think of that he's gone back to Linfield and then did it again. There's not too many in our days who've done that, Joel. Once you went over the water and you didn't make it and you come back, there was very few actually went back across the water again. That's good play down the edge of the box.
Eriksson gives it to Hogsberg, right-footed towards the back post. 2 Danish players there.
Got in their way.
And they got in the way of each other and ended up heading it against Trey Hume, and the ball breaks kindly for Northern Ireland.
Gee, again, I think that's where Devaney needs to learn the game more, Joel, being defensive.
Here's Bradley. Courage to come forward. And it was well tracked, the run by Mela. Bradley's now made it into the Danish half, where he hasn't spent a lot of time in this game. Jimmy Donnelly's coming on, I would say, for Galbraith.
I would think so, yeah. This is where we need, Joe, that's where we need Shea Charles, and you saw it like with the likes of Paris Saint-Germain, their midfield players coming into deep areas there and being confident to take the ball with a man at their back. Our lads have got to, particularly midfield lads, have got to learn to do that and be confident in doing that.
Dion Charles on the move. He's given away the free kick, which is...
That is stupid. I mean, the centre half has got nothing to do, Joel, but
all he's going to do is
out.
put it out.
Exactly.
So at the worst case scenario, you're going to get a throw in.
And
we give them a
straight
free
into
kick.
the back of him. I think that's frustration because Dion Charles cannot get in the game either.
Donnelly for Galbraith, as predicted. So
George Saville's coming on as well, Joel.
And who's George Saville coming on for? Ali McCann.
That's probably, the ones that we were talking about who haven't been in the game, Joe.
There you go, John. That means we do have another Northern player on the pitch who was born whenever Angels was released. Robbie Williams coming to the parking on Thursday week. I'd say this is a great venue for a concert, John. I'd say the good people of Copenhagen have enjoyed many a night out here with
that's a beautiful
that
city,
hasn't necessarily been football related.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city.
Fabulous venue. So the double change has been made and we're up and running again, and Mela has it for Denmark, back to Højbjerg and now Anderson, and Anderson decides he's going to go out to the right hand side, and then he gets it back again and he tries a pass through the middle, and now he might try one backwards just to complete all directions, but he decides not to go to his goalkeeper. He goes to Eriksson instead. Still 1-1, just past the hour mark. Northern Ireland scored the first goal of the evening. It was originally given to Shea Charles, but it's now been given to Højbjerg as their own goal. And then Denmark equalised just before half-time and stoppage time. And here they come again.
Great tackle.
Good defending.
Great tackle by McConville.
It's a little nick off the Danish player. That should be a Northern Ireland throw-in.
No, he's given it as well. And now he's got his
the assistant
flag.
referee put his flag down towards the right.
Yeah, and he's still doing it. Look.
And the referee has given it to Denmark.
There.
Clearly a Northern Ireland throw-in.
Yeah.
Danes are about to make a couple of changes.
Oh.
A shot from distance from Anderson, which is in about row 37.
Oh dear.
They're going to make at least 2 changes, Denmark.
This is where the game gets stupid now, Joel. You know, it's hard.
Kills the friendlies off, doesn't it?
Yeah, and anything could happen. You know, it's.
They're not going to do it just yet, so that would suggest there's another couple of players that they're going to try and get ready.
Yeah, it always makes us laugh, Joel, when they're standing on the touchlines and they've got pieces of paper and they've got computers and whatnot. And do they not know what they're supposed to do when they go onto the pitch?
You think you would do that before you'd stand on the edge of the technical area?
No. I always laughed at Liam Beckett when he did the piece in the paper and was on about substitutions. It takes nearly 20 minutes to get a sub on now.
You know, it takes them that long to get ready as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a triple change, I think, the next time the ball goes out of play. Denmark have it in their own half. And it's with Damsgaard. Mela, the fullback, can't make any sort of headway against Rory McConville.
There's a good header by Anderson. He misses that, and he's got Price and Taylor both looking to chase that one down. Well done, George Saville.
Yeah, Saville
terrible ball.
Dion Charles. He just runs into Anderson. It's a brick wall.
Yeah, he's holding his head, Joel, but I think he's feeling it a little bit. I think he's another one that he might need to change, you know. And we were talking about whether Josh McGuinness is he, you know, is his time up for the squad or whatnot. And you were saying, Joel, about possibly coming on as a substitute, and this would be the perfect time to have a Josh McGuinness up there to upset those centre halves. You know, when we're trying to play the ball long to get us out of trouble, you know, we just don't have that presence up front.
Well, who's this all? So we're going to have the substitution now.
14, Joel.
14's off. Damsgaard's off.
Yeah.
Anderson's off. On comes Fitzgordon. 7 goals in 13 games for the under-21s. He's going to come on up front, and he gets his debut for the senior team.
Yeah, Vestergaard's coming on, Joel, for Anderson.
And Hoyland's off and Bereth's on.
We actually cleared that up quite well, Joel, because usually it's very difficult to try and get them all in one go, especially if you're doing it off tube.
No, nice to be here and see it all in the flesh.
I tell you, Joel, I'm enjoying the game. You know, I mean, there's not a lot of what you would call clear-cut chances, but I'm enjoying the way Northern Ireland trying to stymie Denmark and not let them play. And
Denmark plays Scotland as well, don't they, in their opening qualifier?
Yeah, you know, and you know, you can see the way that the Danes are trying to break us down. So it's almost like cat and mouse, and you know, the question of which one's going to break first. You know, hopefully we don't lose or do anything silly to give the goal away.
There's been a little bit of crossover then, hasn't there? Because of course Denmark will play Scotland in their first qualifier. Scotland lost to Iceland.
And we
play Iceland, of course, on Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
It's part of the Scandinavian adventure. Stockholm in the last game, Copenhagen in this game, and then the third round comes in Belfast when Iceland come to Belfast. Makes a change. Iceland coming to us. The advert says we all go to Iceland, doesn't it? So it'll be the last game of this very long season for so many players.
Exactly. They'll be glad
I'd
to
say
get
they
away.
will be delighted to walk off the pitch on Tuesday night and get away on holiday, some of them.
We've spoken about this before, Joel, going down through the years about, you know, friendlies in June, but I have to say this is one of the better ones.
Yes,
this is definitely.
But it's
one of the
difficult,
better
John. It's the mix and match. There's so many of our players, if they weren't involved in playoffs or weren't playing in the Premier League or You know, if they were playing in the lower leagues in England, their last game was the end of April.
Yeah, a long time ago.
You know, so quite a while ago. Defending for Northern Ireland to do again. Isaacson puts the cross in, and it's a side foot finish. And it's Christian Eriksen arriving in the penalty area. Side foot finish. Ball across the box from the right hand side. Pierce Charles couldn't keep it out, and it's another goal for Christian Eriksen. 45 now as he chases down 52, which is the number that would equal Denmark's leading international goal scorers. He still has plenty of energy left. He still has plenty of those legs, still plenty of those boots, and he scores yet again. What a footballer, what a career. Christian Eriksen puts Denmark in front.
Yeah, it was great play, great passing by them, but we had 2 or 3 chances to possibly maybe get it away. We just couldn't get a firm foot on it, and then Charles in goal doesn't get a hand on it either. But you got to offer the Dane a bit of congratulations there, Joe. I mean, it cut through us like a knife, and the pace they played at, we just couldn't get ourselves set for it. And overall, you've got to say on the balance of play, they probably deserve it.
Hans Christian Andersen wrote about the red shoes, didn't he?
Yeah.
Christian Eriksen's the man with the red boots, and it's a fairy tale of a career. I mean, at 33, mentioned it earlier, cap 143.
Yeah.
I mean, if he keeps going another 3 or 4 years, John, I mean, he's 160, 170 territory.
Yeah, I mean, fitness-wise, I mean, he seems to be okay, and certainly he seems to have the desire to keep going.
Jon Dahl Tomasson is one of the 2 players on 52 international goals that he's chasing. Poul Nielsen from an earlier vintage, also on 52.
Need to be careful here, Joel. They're starting to play.
Here they come again down the right-hand side. Pierce Charles, brilliant save to keep it at 2-1. But you don't want this to become Stockholm again.
No, you don't, Joel. I don't think they deserve it, but it's down to the players to make sure it doesn't, Joel. They've got to regroup themselves. You know, they've got to start talking to one another.
Isaacson looks the part, John, doesn't he?
I mean, he's I didn't think he was that good, Joel, but tonight he certainly has had a tremendous game.
Thought he was good, but not that good.
Yeah.
He could have had a second goal of the evening had it not been for Pierce Charles with that save, but they still have the corner to defend. Eriksen into the penalty area, headed away towards the right side of the penalty area, the Northern Ireland box. 20 minutes to go. Denmark have turned this one around. I told you their home record on friendlies was good.
Yeah.
They've bounced back from an early setback, and they have control of this match. Again, cross from the right-hand side into the penalty area, headed down off the inside of the post, and it's gone in, and it's Bireth, Mika Bireth, the substitute. It's offside. Flag's gone up.
Yeah, sorry. It was a brilliant goal. I'm not sure where the offside came in here, Joel, but it's a tremendous goal. But again, they've just upped the pace, Joel. They haven't panicked, you know. They've just kept playing the same way over and over again, and everything's coming in. Yeah, he's offside. This guy's offside.
Yeah, it's not actually the goal scorer.
No,
it's
a strange one.
Mela who's offside.
It's a strange one. I think they might give this, Joel, because I don't know if he's interfering with play.
Right, so they're going to check this. Did Mela prevent the defender possibly from heading the ball away?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it was a great cross and a great header, but again,
Northern Ireland about to make 2 changes as well.
Yeah.
Paul Smith's going to come on, and so is Brodie Spencer. So is it going to be 2-1 or 3-1 whenever they come on?
Yeah.
Well, we have experience of long VAR checks in this stadium, John.
We have, yeah.
Denied Callum Marshall.
Yeah, he's offside. Is it a signal he's offside?
Yeah, he's offside. 2-1, not 3-1. Right.
Yeah.
So on comes Paul Smith, and off goes Dion Charles, and Bradley's coming off, and on comes Brodie Spencer.
When you look at, I suppose we can talk about this more towards the end of the game, Joel, but when you go to the World Cup group, there's a lot to look forward to, and a lot to be positive about from this performance.
George mentioned it at half-time in terms of the two parts of the game, with the ball and without the ball.
Absolutely.
Without the ball, they've looked pretty good.
Yeah,
with the ball, they've offered far too much encouragement.
Exactly, but I think the game against Iceland on Tuesday night will show us a little bit more, Joel, because that's the type of game where you think that when we get all the ball on the ball, particularly at home, we should be able to put them under a little bit of pressure.
I was thinking that until I saw the result against Scotland.
But Scotland aren't the best at the minute themselves, Joel. But that'll give us a clear insight into possibly what's going to happen in the group.
Denmark have another home game on Tuesday night.
They're
not here. They're in Odense.
That's why you want to see this last 20 minutes out, Joel, and try and keep it at this. Don't let it turn into another Sweden game.
Lithuania will provide the opposition on Tuesday night for Denmark.
But as I say, I admire the way the Danes have been playing, Joel, because they just keep passing it and waiting for the opportunities to open.
And unless something very, very dramatic happens, John.
Oh, what a ball.
Northern Ireland still haven't won a game in Denmark.
I'll tell you what, the Benny knows he's in a game.
Isaacson looks pushed out by Pierce Charles. Pinball inside the 6-yard box after the goalkeeper pushed the shot out, and it goes behind for a goal kick. They got a little bit of luck there.
Yeah, but what about the ball from Højbjerg? Benny thought he had that. He thought that he'd cut it out, Joel. But
it's actually a throw-in.
The pace of it just took it past him, and again, Isaacson did his stuff coming in.
A throw-in right beside the corner flag.
Yeah.
Big sign, or a message on the big screen. And I think that's a chance for the fans. They get to vote for the player of the match.
Oh, well, I think there's only one they can vote for.
Isaacson for me, I have to say. Still, it looks, John, as if there's only going to be, in the 15th meeting between these sides, one away win.
One away win, yeah.
And that was in Belfast whenever Denmark came as European champions back in the early 90s. And they won by 1-0.
Yeah.
Peter Schmeichel played in that game. Jim Magilton played in that game.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to portion any blame, but Jim Magilton played in that game. It's a free kick for Denmark. 2-1 in front, and
they're
two goal scorers over the ball.
They're increasing the pace, Joel, and we're struggling to live with it at the minute.
Isaacson and Eriksson. Free kicks on the left. Referees applied the shaving foam. Two players in a wall. Right foot of Eriksson or left foot of Isaacson. It's definitely going to be the right foot of Eriksson, because Isaacson runs away.
He's gone for it.
He went for the near post.
He did.
Pierce Charles went down and pushed it away for a corner.
Yeah, it was a clever one from Eriksson, because every other one he's put into the box, but that one he's gone to try and sneak it inside Pierce Charles' right-hand post there, but the goalkeeper's read it well.
He's pulling out the party tricks now.
Yeah.
What's happened now is two of the players colliding inside the box, Price and Vestergaard. The referee has a quiet word. Big lad, Vestergaard, isn't he?
Price has certainly got his hands full there, Joel. He's just pushed them off.
Into the box it goes. Good defensive header at the near post. The referee blows the whistle.
He's looking to give a foul there, Joel, after the carry on between the two of them. I don't see a foul in there at all. But I mean, Eriksson's delivery of these last few free kicks and corners, Joel, have been excellent.
Vestergaard, of course, he was the player that fell out with Brendan Rodgers in Leicester.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Another one who's suffered relegation this season. Huge experience, though. It's his 54th cap. Charles taking an eternity.
Forever. I'm surprised the referee has allowed him to do that.
Easier to let it go when they're losing.
Exactly.
Well, if they've been winning the game, the referee might have been a bit more involved.
Yeah.
Shot from distance has had the goalkeeper slightly worried. Donnelly said it'll have a punt here. Into the last 15 minutes.
It's funny, Joel, but the players, that we expected to play well, Shea Charles, McCann, on the ball, Galbraith, they haven't Well, they haven't done it, and they haven't had the opportunity to do it. Defensively, they've all worked very hard, but unfortunately, going forward, it hasn't been good. But as we were making the point, when we come to the qualifying for the World Cup, in the group that we're in, you've got to expect Germany to win the group. But the other games, I would fancy yourselves,
You talk about how seriously teams take friendlies, John.
Yeah.
If things stay as they are, it means Denmark will have lost just two of the last 22 friendlies, home or away.
Yeah, I think
away to the Netherlands and away to Slovakia.
They're not bad losses, Joe, but I think the way they play, it's so easy on the age, Joe, and you would love. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
We've lost it again. We win it back and then we lose it. And he's showboating now.
Yeah, Højbjerg with a little drag back.
He's had a good game.
It's a little flick from the rampaging Mela, who's been up and down that left-hand side all night in his left back position. And we're going to have another goal kick. And again, we're going to have these 3 or 4 Northern Ireland players who are going to gather in or on the edge of the 18-yard box, and then we're going to use up a few seconds to decide to kick it long.
Again, I think he's kicking it too quickly, Joel. We should be waiting until they get up at least to the the circle, at the centre circle.
Stunning to keep us out. Brodie Spencer tries to win it back in the near side. The two number 20s up against each other.
Yeah.
And is this another change coming? Another substitution?
7's coming on, Joel.
That's Matt O'Reilly who's going to come on. And who else?
Oh, another one. O'Reilly.
Hjulman. Morten Hjulman.
I think Eriksson is going off. Well, the camera's on Eriksson anyway, so.
Morten Hjulman from Sporting Lisbon. And Matt O'Reilly from Bright.
They haven't been able to get them on yet.
No,
Joel.
the bits of paper aren't ready yet, John.
No.
Forward for Price to chase. Is he going to get one chance in this game, John, and get his goal? Oh, they're overplaying the Danes inside their own penalty area.
They were lucky there.
Hogsberg.
Oh, they're doing it again.
He's already given one goal away. This is how Northern Ireland got their goal. The goalkeeper tries to play it out, and he hits it straight against Saville, who was inside the 18-yard box,
and it
then bounces out for a goal kick.
It's just too much fun. I mean, that's ridiculous there. I mean, of all the good play and the passing they've done, and then on 2 occasions inside their own 18-yard box, one occasion we get a goal from, but the other occasion, we could have had a chance.
Eriksson and Norgard are the 2 players who are going off. And that's the one thing you'd say, John. I mean, they've gifted us a goal, and if we had more opportunities to kind of have Denmark in those sorts of positions, as maybe better teams will do,
they'll punish them.
They will.
Yeah, they'll punish them.
They take chances.
And that's when you got to think, of Denmark not being right up there, Joel. And especially if they try and do that away from home.
While it's 2-1, the game's not over. It's like, because if they find themselves in a position like that again, and Northern Ireland have 3 or 4 players up the pitch, and they try to squeeze them, you wouldn't be shocked if they gave you another chance.
You a goal, absolutely right.
So
again, I don't know why this is the first time in the game they've started to change it.
Yeah, and of course Eriksson's off, and maybe not the same fluidity in the passing of Denmark. You never know.
I can't get over Shea Charles tonight, Joe. I mean, that's another terrible pass.
Paul Smith is trying to make something of it.
Absolutely no chance there.
And the Danes have passed it backwards into an area where Paul Smith was, but they
were lucky they got out of that one, Joe.
Themselves out of a tight corner. And Vestergaard helps it on its way over to the right-hand side. We're into the last 10 minutes. Denmark leading by 2-1. They were 1-0 down inside 6 minutes, and they scored on the stroke of half-time and first half injury time, and it looks like Christian Eriksen is the man who scored the decider in the second half.
They've slowed it down, really slowed it down now, Joel. They're spending a lot more time in their back 3, their back 4, whereas before, they were looking to put that killer ball into their front 2 and play off them, but now they're taking their time. I mean, if they play them balls, that would have went through to Charles, I think.
Saville does well. Tight area. And it's just put under so much pressure straight away.
I mean, I know, Joel, we're put under pressure, but we don't have players, you know, that can take the ball under pressure and not be ruffled by it. You know, they're exceptional players, I know, but we just don't have that type of player. You know,
Savills read the rat act a few there and kind of as if to say, well, you know, give me a pass,
exactly.
give me an option.
Yeah, give you an option, you know. Højbjerg, you know, under pressure, he can take the ball with a man, you know, real close to him.
Helped out towards this.
Sure,
right
that was a pass.
Shinned out.
Shinned it, didn't they?
Brodie Spencer tries to play a little 1-2. Does well, gets it back. Spencer tries to run round the defender. He needed to cross that first time.
Joel, this is the thing, you know, I always go back to John Robertson when he was playing in Nottingham Forest. He wasn't the fastest in the world, but on that occasion he wouldn't have been looking to take it past the defender. He had a yard, just whip it in, and Spencer had that yard. He should have crossed the ball into the box, tries to go round the defender, and the defender just holds him up.
John, is there any footballing justice? Callum Marshall is coming on.
Yeah, wouldn't that be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Made his debut here 2 years ago, thought he'd equalised here 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Until the VAR intervention late in the game. Is he going to equalise tonight? Maybe it'll count. Yeah, gets the last 7 minutes plus stoppage time.
I hope Joel will hold it to 2-1 and keep the fingers crossed that maybe
somebody
we
gets
get a chance, you know, half a chance, and we take it.
So ball clipped forward by Anton,
but I think the
who's come on at right back.
Yeah, I think that Kenny. I thought they'd given us away. I think the difference, Joel, you know, in the two teams, and this is all down to, you know, the class of player and the way the teams are coached, but even before they receive a pass, they seem to know where it's going, you know, where it's going, the next one's going. They don't have to think about it, you know, whereas...
Deep cross in towards the back post, headed down, and Pearce Charles does well. Brilliant
double save.
He got himself up again and clawed the ball away.
I think the first one hit him on the chin, and then he had to get up and make the save.
Done well there, Pearce Charles again.
Again, we don't need to pass the ball there. Somebody's got to be telling him to hold it and turn.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to, a wonder pass to try and get Shea Charles through, and he's got no chance.
Yeah, and he's had 84 minutes of chasing everybody, and
you can see
you're asking a lot of him instead of Marshall just holding the ball
Just holding the ball. But we've said it, Joe, you know, they are a relatively young side, and they've got to learn, and they've got to learn very quickly. And games like this will help them no end.
This is decent from the home side. Released Mela again. Crossed into the 6-yard area. It's a lovely delivery and poked behind at the far side of the pitch by Brodie Spencer, and it's going to be a corner for Denmark. O'Reilly's going to take it. Pearce Charles has made a couple of really good saves.
He's done well, Joel.
Denmark have had one disallowed as well, so they've created way more chances in the second half than they did in the first.
They just, you know, from the second half, they just upped the pace until they got the goal.
O'Reilly's delivery from the corner bounces in the Northern Ireland penalty area. They're struggling to clear this. Denmark
have well done.
Numbers forward.
Well
That's a good pass out to Marshall. And then again, he doesn't keep it. Gives it away. Got to be better with the ball.
Yeah, I think, you know, that if Michael, you know, gets him settled down over the next couple of days, you know, and looks at the video, that's going to stand out, you know, a mile, Joel, about how often we've won the ball and give it right back to them. And, you know, with a team of this class, you can't afford to do that. But defensively, Joel, they've stuck to their task, you know, and there must be a lot of tired legs out there. And you got to give them credit for that.
Vestergaard just standing in his own half. Big screens, the players will see that there's only 4 minutes to go as well, so I think the Danes will be happy just to see this one out and pick another victory and move on to the next one.
That's right.
Passes over, hit all the way through to Pearce Charles.
Yeah, I mean, he's not that type of player. I mean, the likes of Anderson and whatnot would have maybe made that pass, but Vestergaard doesn't have that pass in him. yeah.
Brody Spencer's giving the ball away cheaply, and this could be a chance maybe for Denmark. Again, Northern Ireland defended well. Charles is
did
back.
brilliant there.
Again, bounces off Saville this time, and they just give it away. Really, really need to be better in possession of the ball.
Yeah, just see out this last, 3 minutes plus stoppage, Joel. And, at the end of the day, 2-1 doesn't look too bad. A lot of good positive things to take out of, particularly defensively. And
get back on Tuesday night and
learn from the mistakes. And as I say, watch the video, even if you don't do it as a team, watch it individually and see where could I have done better, what should I have done in this situation.
Brody Spencer on the left hand side, awkward one for him, but he managed to control it and keep it in, and he's put under pressure straight away. Here's Shea Charles. There's a short pass back again to Spencer, just bounces off him. Northern Ireland lose it again inside their own half. Hoiberg,
he was just lining it up, wasn't he?
Then this one spins up in the air.
I think Saville may have got a foot on that, Joel.
Yeah.
As the
I think that's
shot
a
was
Northern Ireland
coming
throw-in, is it?
No, I think that
there's going to be another change.
I think it came off Saville. He did well actually to block the shot.
Anders Dreyer is going to come on. He's a teammate of Paddy McNair at San Diego FC. 4th cap for him. And he's going to replace Isaacson, who's going to get his big round of applause from the home fans. He's been good. Enjoyed watching him tonight, John.
He was from the first moment, Joel. When he went round the Venny, get the cross in. He looked as if he was on fire, and he was up for it. And as I say, Joel, from the amount of friendlies we've seen over the years, this has been a good friendly from start to finish.
Yeah.
There's been no point where the game is, thought, this is a waste of time. Now just blow it up.
Denmark again finishing on the front foot. Shot is deflected. It's sliced away by Brody Spencer, the left-hand side of the Northern Ireland penalty area. Hulman was trying to cause chaos inside there. Here's another chance ball played into the box. The left-back Mela had taken up a position at the near post. He wants to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, we've rode our luck a little bit there. It's been last-ditch defending, getting bodies in the way.
Mela's last 5 international goals have all been scored in this stadium, so no wonder he's keen to try and get on the score sheet. And happy hunting ground for him. 30 seconds post stoppage time to go. 2-1 to Denmark, and it looks as if it's going to be another defeat on the road for Michael O'Neill and his players. This time last year, of course, John, they were in Mallorca.
Getting thumped there as well.
Before Spain went on to win the Euros.
Yeah.
Do you know what you were doing 39 years ago today?
That's good to think.
You were playing Spain at the World Cup.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are now.
39 years ago today.
Don't say that, Joel. 39 years.
Colin Clark.
Feels like yesterday. I was actually just chatting to the guy, the Danish lad there. He's working for TV, and that was the only game we kicked off at midday out there, and I think it was like 100 degrees, and I thought, I'm never going to get through this game. And we were chasing the 2-1, and we'd just gone man for man. It was exhausting.
Northern Ireland played the ball forward long from a free kick, and they won a throw-in in the Danish half now.
Yeah, just throw it into the box, get a flick on and come away with it.
You want to get the bounce of the ball here.
And Paul Smith, I think he had a good throw on him, Joel, isn't he?
He's drying the ball on his white shirt.
Here we go.
Long throw-in for Northern Ireland.
Where's Callum Marshall?
The last throw of the dice. And they find a late equaliser. Denmark scored at the end of the first half. Northern Ireland scored at the end of the second. Long throw-in. Headed away. It's not what we wanted. Back to Smith. It's being closed down, so he'll not be able to get the cross in, and then he gives the ball away. Denmark in possession. Trying to run it clear. Smith slides in. The ball is stayed in.
We win the ball, and again it goes to a red shirt. I see how quickly they move it, Joe.
There's a chance. Left foot shot hits Hume, I think, and goes the wrong side of the corner flag from a Northern Ireland point of view. It's a corner for Denmark and not a throw-in.
They moved the ball quickly, Joel. But fair play to them, like, the last minute, and they were all back there defending, got the ball away and ended up with a corner on their right-hand side. And this probably is the last play of the game, I would think.
You would have thought so. Danish corner from the right, left-footed towards the near post. Powerful header away by Brodie Spencer. Referee must be enjoying himself. We're playing on. And it's all the way back to Jorgensen, the goalkeeper. He goes for a long one, right-footed straight through. Hume has to win this header or we're in trouble, and he does. Saville to Charles. Saville again into Price.
Go on.
Price to Donnelly. Donnelly stretches and gets it to Spencer. Back to Donnelly. Donnelly back to Spencer on the left-hand side. Oh, heavy touch. And it's
how many times have we said that tonight, Joel?
Easily one back.
Yeah.
A lot of reasons that a lot of lads there played a lot of games.
Yeah.
But it's just we bit tired times, we bit laboured.
Yeah. It's
Careless.
understandable,
It's a long season.
Long season, and they've been,
and some of the lads who've had 3-4 weeks off, and some have been in playoff finals and whatever. But
But I think, from the point of view of the exercises of friendly, I think this has been a good game for them.
Absolutely. Referee blows the full-time whistle. Denmark win the game by 2-1. Nice embrace between the two managers down below us. Northern Ireland got off to the flying start. They scored the first goal in the 6th minute. It was eventually taken away from Shea Charles. He got his head to the ball, but the last touch was off Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. It was credited as his own goal. Then came the equaliser right on the stroke of half-time. Conor Hazard, who was in goals in the first half, hadn't had a save to make. But in stoppage time at the end of the first half, the star performer, Gustav Isaksson, scored. The Lazio winger cutting in and beating Conor Hazard to his left. And then the game decided by, well, it had to be, didn't it? Christian Eriksen, 143rd cap, 45th international goal. His strike in the second half, or his tap in the second half, gave Denmark another victory. They are unbeatable in friendlies at home. Haven't lost a home friendly for 10 years, and that was France here in October 2015, and it will be beyond October in 2025 when they they play Tuesday night, don't they? There you go. If they beat Lithuania, then that record will move beyond 10 years, because they won't have another friendly in September, October or November. So it's pretty impregnable coming to Denmark.
It shows you the challenge they face, Joe.
They do. They like friendlies at home, and they have managed to win again. And Michael O'Neill and his players head for the tunnel away to the right-hand corner of the stadium. Energy sapping, John, because they spent a lot of tonight without the ball.
Exactly.
And they have to try and gather themselves together, lift themselves for one last push against Iceland, and then they can all go off in their holidays. Yeah,
it would be nice, Joe, for them to get a win and finish the season on a good note. But as we say, the challenge to come here and win the game was going to be a very, very difficult task. And when you take Germany out of our World Cup group, Joe, I don't think there's anywhere close to the class of Denmark, with the remaining teams in there. And so I think defensively, when you think that we held them to 2-1, rode our luck a little bit, but we did that when we qualified for 2 World Cups, Joe. We were defending and you had to do it. So they'll learn from that. We've said it the whole game. We were giving the ball away very, very easily. I don't think we'll be under as much pressure. I wouldn't expect to be as much pressure against Iceland and again in the World Cup group, so we can hold our own there. So it was one of the better friendlies, Joel, and I think Michael will have learned a lot from this. The players should have learned a lot from this, and hopefully we can take that to Tuesday and get a result and finish off, which I think would be, it would be a good end of the season for them.
7 attempts. Northern Ireland still haven't won in Denmark. It's finished in Copenhagen. Denmark 2, Northern Ireland 1.